Welcome, everyone. I am Bob Wurzelbacher, the director of the Respect Life Office for the Archdiocese of Cincinnati, and this is our video podcast series that we call Being Pro-Life. This episode is part of a series that we're producing on the new Ballot initiative, probably coming to the state of Ohio in November. That's called Protecting Reproductive Rights. In this series, we're going to discuss what the amendment actually says, why it is so dangerous for Ohio, and how you can educate the public on it. Today's guest is Michelle Duffey. She is the Associate Director of Communications and Outreach for the Catholic Conference of Ohio. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bob. Happy to be here.
So what we're going to talk about today is the materials and support that all Catholics can expect from the Catholic Conference of Ohio related to this abortion ballot initiative. But first, a lot of people may be wondering, what is the Catholic Conference of Ohio? Is it supported by the Archbishop? Is it a separate organization? Michelle, tell us, what is the Catholic Conference?
So the Catholic Conference of Ohio, many of your listeners may be likely familiar with the Conference of Catholic Bishops. And just like the USCCB, many states across the United States have their own Conference of Bishops. So that's exactly what we are. We're a Conference of the Bishops of Ohio. The bishops are actually our board. So Archbishop is the chairman of our board of directors. And we advocate the Catholic perspective on matters of public policy. So we are at the State House. And so we go and share the voice of the Catholic Church.
Well, Michelle, that might be something we'll bring up just really quick, right? So we, as a Catholic institution, we don't support a particular political party, and we're not going to support specific political candidates, right? But we do absolutely support or not support specific issues, right? Or ballot initiatives that can come up.
You are 100% correct. And so, yes, if you are ever curious, you type into Google Ohio Catholic Conference, and you'll see all the different issues that we are currently either proponents for or opponents of.
I've been getting a lot of questions, frankly, in the last month, that what specifically is the Catholic Church doing to help educate people, to help them know that they ought to be voting no if this comes up in November. So tell us, what is it that the Catholic Conference is doing so far to defeat this initiative?
As soon as we learned that the proposed amendment was out there for collecting signatures and that it was going to be moving forward, the bishops issued a letter, obviously stating that we would oppose anything that would enshrine abortion within Ohio. And so that letter went out. Hopefully you saw it already in your parishes. We asked the diocese to share it out across Ohio. And it is available on our website as well. So you can see under about the amendment, there's the bishop letter. And we are also working that hopefully this first week of May, it's already been distributed for prayer cards to help invoke God's protection across and help us to strengthen us and work together, unite as Catholics to pray, and also asking for the protection of Mary and Joseph on mothers, the preborn, and families across Ohio and really the United States and the world as well.
So hopefully people have seen it by now, because it should be distributed to all parishioners. Well, we'll talk a little bit about that. So if you're watching on the video, you can see it says Protect Them Both, Prayer to Defeat Ohio's Abortion Amendment. We've got an outline of the state of Ohio, and then it looks like a pregnant woman inside the state of Ohio. That's the front. It says Catholic Conference of Ohio, official voice of the Catholic Church in Ohio on public policy, with the website. And then the prayer right here is on the back. Do you want to say anything about where the prayer came from, what it's about?
Yeah, sure. So really, it was a prayer that was drafted specifically for this amendment. We did really just came up with the concept of the Holy Family, but also God and the gift of life, right? So how do we have that awe and wonder for the gift of life? How can we awaken that in the hearts of Ohioans, of Catholics, and then also, again, like we said, the protection of Mary and Joseph. Just as, they brought Jesus into this world, they struggled off, just even the birth of Jesus and having to flee to Egypt. So just as they brought him into this broken world, that they could really be great intercessors to help protect women that may be struggling, in a crisis pregnancy or just worried about what's going to come of their child, that they'd be great intercessors for these women, as well as the preborn, and then even families too, as parents continue to raise their children.
Do we have some suggested uses, perhaps, for this prayer card?
Yeah, definitely. We are asking parishes if they are able to pray it either before Mass or after Mass. It would also be a great opportunity to pray before parish meetings and then also at home, right? The family that prays together stays together is always what my grandfather said. So I think it would be wonderful for families to pray this at home, maybe as part of their dinner meals.
Right? Put it on your kitchen table, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your prayer table, whatever it is that works for you. Keep one in your wallet. All right, if we can envelop this whole time, with prayer to help change hearts and help people realize the dangers of this ballot initiative, that would be a great thing. But that's not the only thing. We don't just sit back and pray, right? You also have the flyer. If you attend Mass on a regular basis, hopefully this flyer has been made available to you. If not, perhaps you can ask your pastor if he has seen it, or you can get it from certainly the Respect Life office as well. But let's talk a little bit about what it says.
This is the introductory piece, right? But this first piece is really helping everyone understand that the proposed amendment exists and outlines a bit about it, as well as our concerns from a Catholic perspective. And so while the name of the amendment sounds potentially like, it's reproductive freedoms, but it really could remove some of the safeguards that are in place for women. And just as Catholics, we find it dangerous, unjust, and against our belief in the sacredness of all life. And so we also talk and highlight a bit more about what you can do now, but we really wanted to highlight what are we concerned about from a Catholic perspective. It's the vagueness of it that is really concerning. So it puts women at risk, that this vague language doesn't specify who can perform an abortion. So it removes some of the standards of care that are in place today, such as the presence of a licensed physician, or that it's within a certain range of a hospital access or in case of an emergency. Also endangering preborn children. It could force Ohio to abandon any protections that we had for preborn children with a detectable heartbeat. And really, it could permit abortions at any time in the pregnancy. Again, with the vagueness of the language, it's at the discretion of the treating physician. It doesn't state what type of physician. So this could be a mental health physician, somebody that says, this woman, this is detrimental to her mental health to have this baby. So it could be later on, right? It doesn't state specifically when it could be performed up to. So really, it could be up to, obviously, the point when a baby could feel pain or even beyond. And then finally, it enables those who pressure women into abortion. So the fact that it says the state shall not penalize, prohibit, interfere with, or discriminate against a person or entity that assists an individual to get an abortion. So we know that up to 64% of women feel pressured into having an abortion, often by the father, even maybe sometimes by her own parents or others. And so this could really protect even somebody that is an abuser, traffickers, or like negligent clinicians that just maybe are out there saying, oh, this is just too much on you, and could really pressure a woman into having an abortion. They'd be protected under these laws. Also, even there is nothing that states that consent would be needed. So a parent, their daughter could have an abortion under 18 and would never be notified. So that would even prevent them from understanding that their daughter could be possibly being abused by somebody as well. So there's a lot of things that the proposed amendment does not say, and that's really the concerning aspect.
Right. It doesn't make any distinction for age, for example, right? And if you can't interfere with anyone of any age seeking an abortion, then requiring parental consent could easily be seen as unconstitutional. Right, so these flyers should have already gone out in the mail, and hopefully they're being distributed. So what are some of the ways you might suggest that we use this flyer?
We sent physical copies to all the parishes, so hopefully they went into the bulletin. It's nice that it could be separated out from the bulletin to share it with friends or family that you know as well, that you wanted to speak to some of the concerns. You have a piece to do that with, but also parishes have a table after Mass where people could come and learn more about the proposed amendment and the dangers of it. I know parish festival season is coming up. That would be a great opportunity to have a booth at the festival because, right, you're going to have a lot of people that may not come to church every Sunday.
But let's say somebody does want to set up a booth, and pass out a bunch of these at a parish festival. They need more copies. How can we get more?
Yeah. So if you would like additional materials, we do have some left over. So if you go to our website and then click on the Defeat Ohio's Proposed Amendment, it will take you to a page that you can scroll down and then click Parish and School Resources. And within that, we are at this time just asking that it be requested through the parishes, but under the quick links, either you can download the PDF of the flyer and you could print some of your own, but the ones that we have left, we're happy to share. There is under the quick links, request more materials. And if you click that, it does send you to an order form. We just ask that, you order what you think you'll be able to use, because again, we only have limited resources left over. But if, once we run out, I'd be happy to send anybody a print ready PDF that you could send to a printer and have more produced, either the flyer or the prayer card. So simply just email me, and my email address is on that order form.
So it's probably fair to say that if you want to do this at your parish festival and give out hundreds or thousands of these, just make a little investment, from your parish to print these out from the PDF, and you can make as many as you'd like and pass them out to everyone.
Some of the other pieces in the works are, we've highlighted a couple phrases of the amendment that are concerning. We are working on a piece that would have the full amendment language and some notes of what is concerning about that. And then also common questions so that we could prepare everyone to answer questions that you may receive or that you may be asking yourself. And so we'll prepare a Q&A document, as well as if the signatures are collected and we do get a proposition number in July, then we will obviously have more materials that specify the specific proposition number. Voting no, why to vote no. Sometimes we often ask, am I supposed to vote no or yes on this, and why? So then we'll make it very clear that people understand what proposition number it is and which way to vote aligned with the Catholic Church.
So if you go to the Ohio Catholic Conference website, which you can find by just putting in your browser Catholic Conference of Ohio, it'll take you right here. And then over here on the right, the big logo of the state of Ohio with 1 minute to defeat Ohio's proposed abortion amendment. So click on that and you'll be on this website that's created specifically for this amendment. You want to tell us a little bit about what is on this webpage that we have?
Yes. Of note, from the Catholic Conference of Ohio, we are a member of the Protect Women Ohio Coalition. So we do have a link there out to that website to view their resources. But we really wanted to supplement their resources with specific Catholic materials that would arm Catholics across Ohio for this amendment. The About the Amendment and Prayer Warriors are for any general lay Catholic and what may be helpful for you. So even about the amendment, we have our new flyer, and then also some news articles down below that have already been put forth. So we actually have Archbishop's op-ed from the Inquirer there at the top. Then we also have some quick other resources that link out to some of the Protect Women Ohio pieces as well. And then we also have our prayer warriors. I know a lot of people love to unite in prayer. There is our prayer card here, as well as lots of resources from the USCCB. So there's holy hours, there's a litanies, there's novenas, etc., that are there to help our efforts. And then we have our parish and school resources. This could also be any ministries that you have. And we do have the bishop letter, as well as a letter to the pastors of what is coming soon. And then we have a bulletin announcement that can be used to be placed in any bulletins or newsletters. So if there's other ministries and you have a newsletter, please go ahead and feel free to pull this language and include it in your newsletter. And we also have within that our flyer and our prayer card. We'll be launching a media kit soon. And then take action. I know a lot of people have already been calling us. How can I help? Really, we're asking people within each parish to help lead efforts. So I'm sure your pastor would love it if you came to them and said, I want to help. This includes things of distributing the materials, having tables before or after masses, or at other, maybe going and talking to other ministries within your parish about the proposed amendment and its dangers, coordinating a table at the parish festival or other events that you have. Also, we have all of the links to, if you're in Cincinnati, to Bob, but also any other diocese across Ohio, and who to contact to get involved at the diocesan level. And then finally, after the take action, we also really wanted to highlight how the Catholic Church already supports women in need. So we also have links here out to the Walking with Moms in Need. This is a great program from the USCCB about how parishes can highlight those. And then also Project Rachel that really supports women that have had abortions and are struggling. So we'll continue to add more resources here. But we wanted to highlight that the Catholic Church really does walk with women and always have. It's not just the babies. It's not just, we want to make sure we have life. We want to continue to support these women, especially after choosing life, or even if they haven't, that we are nurturing people that are dealing with the traumas of abortion.
And since you mentioned that, we have our own site in the Archdiocese of Cincinnati on the Walking with Moms at catholicaoc.org/walkingwithmoms. It'll take you to our page, says you are not alone at the top, and it gives resources for mom, tells you where all our pregnancy care centers are, as well as giving a step-by-step on how to get started initiating Walking with Moms in your parish. Because, we obviously want people to know, as Michelle already said, we're ultimately about helping women in need. And we want to make sure people realize that and maybe make sure that we're doing that, supporting our pregnancy care centers and letting people know how it is they can get the resources they need to help thrive as a family, and as a parent and as a mother. So thanks for mentioning that as well, Michelle. So is there anything else you wanted to say about what's going on with this initiative and what we can be expecting in the near future?
Just continuing to encourage everybody to get involved, to really pray, unite in prayer, and also activate these resources and bring them forth in your parish, in your schools, in your ministries across Ohio, and to continue to visit the website to look at those materials, see as new materials are released. And most importantly, to register to vote. So maybe it's even holding a table for voter registration after Mass. That's really great, something to do in July and August. Then once we have the number for the proposition number, and then really encouraging people to vote no and helping them understand the dangers of the amendment.
All right. Well, thanks for talking with us today, Michelle, about these great materials that are being sent to every parish so everyone understands how dangerous this would be for babies and for moms in Ohio. Thanks for spending time with us today, Michelle.
Thank you, Bob.
And I want to thank all of our viewers and listeners for tuning in on this episode of our Being Pro-Life series. Head to the website and view all the links talked about in this episode at www.catholicaoc.org/beingprolife. Thanks again for joining us today. I look forward to being with you next time.